Okay, here we are, C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. Hey, I am so thrilled about today. My goodness, we get to have another strategic roundtable with, just get ready, the best of the best. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're watching the replay and you're here live, thank you, thank you. I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Network's Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. How many of you, I'm a news junkie. I will just say it. How many of you are a news person? You love to read what's happening in the world. And I get too many news feeds and too many print newspapers that I even want to admit. But my radar is always up about what's happening in the world, specifically in the world of the economy, the business culture, what's happening with all the transitions in the world. And, we're always changing in the global economy, and we're always changing with dynamics of culture and of people and human beings and things that are happening. And so having a pulse on what's happening, and as it's called, the zeitgeist of the world, is important to me. So today's topic is all about that. And so today is all about how to get the strategic advantages that you need for your business, your life, your career, so that you can have the best, most optimized career, business, life, money, freedom, clients, all kinds of things, and especially fun. So today we get the great privilege to take a pause. I don't know about you, but unless I purposely put a pause in my calendar, I often don't take a pause. How many of you can relate? We just kind of go through the day. Yes. So I believe that strategic people gather regularly to discuss important issues that are strategic. So taking a moment, we're going to take literally have some breakout rooms where for 30 minutes we're going to talk about topics that are important to you, that my promise and commitment, and I know the promise of all of our esteemed faculty that are here today, is just that this is an important time that you leave, like last week, had a program last week that was so great, that you leave with a new insight, something that will help you move forward and feel empowered, hopeful, strategic, and aligned with what you're doing and why you're here to do it. So that's why we're here today. And our topic for today is get the 2026 strategic advantage, and what are the smart moves that you need to make now in your business, your career, and your life. And when I say strategic advantage, ladies in our council, we believe in collaboration and not competition. We believe in coming together so that 1 + 1 = 3, and that we're not competing with each other. We're not competing for clients. I guess technically sometimes we are, but we come to our council with the spirit of what can I do to help you, and that I get to be helped along the way. And so that together we're raising the conversation about coaches, consultants, strategic advisors, trusted authorities in the world. So that's our theme today. And so what I'm curious about, just to kind of get us going and have you go into breakout rooms in just a moment, is kind of thinking about what's happening right now for you in the world, in your business, that's having you kind of take a moment to pause. What are you thinking about now that's having you think about not only today's priorities, but thinking about, okay, what does Q2 look like? We've got global dynamics that are happening always, that are impacting our business and our life, our clients' business and life. So thinking about what's happening for you that's making you think about the future, and to be forward thinking, to even take a moment to take a deep breath and think about what's next for you. So I just love to pause and have us share for just a moment and think about what's happening for you right now that's having you even stop and say, hey, this is important to me, to either share or to be able to contribute, to participate. So jump in. Maybe it's AI, maybe it's the economy, maybe it's layoffs in it's rifts, it's all kinds of things that are happening in not only the US, but the world. Is it, concerns about the global economy? Maybe it's talent shortages. There's so many things that we could be thinking about. And I'm curious for you, what is it that you're thinking about right now? So let me pass the baton and get the conversation going with you. Gloria, so glad you're here. Good. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. What bring in, your expertise, and then we're going to go into some breakout rooms and talk more about this. But what's happening? What's your ear to the ground now in what's happening in the world that we need to know about? Angela, jump in, and I think you are now muted.
Please mute.
I believe I'm now unmuted.
Thank you. Come on, bring it
You never
forward
know.
here in our Women's Coaching and Consulting Council.
All right. So it's interesting because in case you don't know, and I'm an accessibility professional, accessibility strategist. Basically, how do we make things work for people with disabilities and ultimately for everybody? How do we optimize systems so that they actually work? And there were there was a regulation or series of regulations handed down from the DOJ back in 2022 that basically, if you receive public funding, you need to be accessible, you need to be compliant. And there were two periods of panic, shall I say, about those regulations. The first was when they came out, and the second is now, a month before the deadline by which they need to be implemented, which is hilariously typical, right? And I'm looking at this and I'm seeing this as an advantage because if you're panicking now about the regulations, you are not going to meet them. But what you can do is show good faith. What you can do is show progress. And because you're not going to meet the deadline anyway, you can use this as an opportunity not just to be compliant, but to tap into the advantage of ultimately building systems that work for everybody, the business advantage of accessibility. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in my breakout is the business advantage of accessibility. And I'm sorry, Kathleen, I probably rattled too.
It's okay. It's all good. Yes. Yes. And it's interesting. I heard of the latest deadline from another colleague, and I connected with Angela. I said, Are you aware of this? And she, of course, was aware of it. But, if we're not like tuned into what's happening out in the world with our clients, with, our news feeds, we're not in tune with it. We can't really stay ahead and advise our clients, right? As to, hey, are you aware of this? And I am astounded about how many businesses that get a government grant or are part of some sort of government education organization don't have any idea about it. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, great. So who else? What are you hearing that's having you say, hey, I need to stop, pause, and take a strategic moment here to think about what's happening in the world and what's happening with my business, my career, my life? Jump in.
I'll
I
share.
mean, Kathleen, you kind of ran through the full gamut of them. And I think every single one of us has heard somebody talk about one or all of those. I just before this was in a presentation about neurodiversity in the workplace. And when you tie that in with what Angela was talking about, and look at it from the spectrum of how does that interface with AI. Some of the people that are the most creative at creating some of those high technical things are those that have the least ability to speak up sometimes. But man, their brains are going at full speed. And we've got so many different things that when you look at the work environment, the people aren't thinking about over the years, but all of a sudden are having an awareness of. And so whether they are getting it because of the concerns about how is our staff working with new tools and what new tools do we need to create, be they AI or otherwise, or how do we make the people who are here working together understand and communicate with each other? All of those factors are coming up to discuss any of the things that you mentioned.
You're
You
muted,
are
Kathleen.
muted, Kathleen.
Sorry. Gloria, I think you had your hand up. You were speaking, and then we'll go over to Suzanne. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no
Gloria from
worries.
Palm Springs, dear, huh? How nice.
Exactly.
Look
It's
at that.
nice,
Yeah.
nice to be home. It's only going to be 100 degrees here today in March. Like, go figure. For me, it's really been the economy and tariffs with the clients that we work with. Last year was a year of uncertainty. I think there's still uncertainty, but the folks that I'm talking to are just tired of waiting. Not, it's just like you can't be paralyzed forever. Being paralyzed for a year is long enough, and now it's time to start doing things because the tariff thing is on, it's off, it's legal, it's not legal. Do you get your money back? Do you adjust your pricing? How do you do all that? And so what we're seeing now is a really good sign is that people are ready to just do the right thing, knowing that they still have that as a challenge. And so it's given us an opportunity to re-engage and given us more confidence to reach out to people that we don't know, right? Because we've stayed connected to the folks that are currently doing business with, folks that we've done business with in the past, and it's giving us some optimism that we can try new targets. So we work to get our workshops certified for SHRM credits, Society for Human Resource Management. So we're gonna, target that as a new group. But if it's feeling like as tough as the world is, there's still some bright lights, which feels good.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And our council being one of them as we continue to grow and expand. Thank you. Yeah. Suzanne, what are you seeing in Sweden? What's happening with
Yes,
so
I,
many
I
dynamics? And you've got your second book that just came out. Congratulations to you.
thank you. Thank you so much. I wanted to add on to what Susan and Angela talked about because I'm in the situation right now where I have a son who has ADHD and autism, who has struggled in school for so many years, and I found a boarding school for him, a specialized boarding school, and now he's graduating from high school in 3 months. And so apart from being a CEO coach running my own company, I am also having a game where I'm playing for a world where neurodivergent, that is hard to say for me, neurodivergent young people or young adults step into adulthood with confidence, agency, and momentum into the workplace, and both having the self-confidence to apply for getting jobs, and then getting the workplace to understand what it means to have a brilliant person like this in their the workplace, and how they can benefit from that, and not just driving with them so that they will just end up quitting. So yes, so that is also one of my main issues, what I work with, to create winning companies where people love to work. And it doesn't matter where in the company you work or who you are. Everyone should be treated in the way they need to be treated and appreciated.
We can already see the collaboration here, and sounds like that's really going to continue to inform your work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, inclusivity. Yes, yes, good. Thank you. Angela, jump right in, and then I have one other curious question, then we can jump into our breakout rooms.
I
Feel
just
free to
wanted
jump in.
to, I just, okay. I just wanted to piggyback off what Suzanne was saying because school is an unfair judge of ability for a lot of people because
Yeah.
you have to be wired a certain way. It requires sitting still for 8 hours a day, and I don't know how in the world I managed it when I was a kid. It
Run the crowd,
requires,
right?
oftentimes listening to lectures. Sometimes it requires the unique torture that is called group work. I don't know how I managed that when I was a kid. Um, so, and one thing that I told my own son was, look, your school performance is not reflective of your adult performance. So, he got through school, and now that he's an adult, he's crushing it, because he's doing things that are more wired for his action-oriented self.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, good. So another curious question about what we're seeing, and I am astounded too, and I want to share with you that I think that this is an opportunity which we can take into our breakout rooms as well, is what are the strategic moves that you think, just taking a pause, my gosh, what a great gift today for all of us to think about the things that will give us the greatest advantage in 2026 for the rest of the year. And, I also think it's not getting strategic advantage over others, but what can we do that's going to give us the most momentum, give us the most return on our time, our heart, our passion? And I am noticing so many things that I want to share with you because I'm having now 4 to 5 conversations a day with women that are going to come and join our council as we continue to grow this year, dramatically scale and grow. And I am noticing so much about the passion, the commitment, the love that these women have for coaching and making a difference for people. It's so glorious. I get off each call and I'm so inspired. And at the same time, I'm noticing that many, many of them are becoming coaches with larger organizations so that they don't have to be in the client acquisition business. They can just be in the coaching business. And the consolidation that's going to be happening this year and beyond is something that no one else is going to be talking about because it's interesting that companies are now that consulting KPMG, I mean, PricewaterhouseCoopers, all these different companies that used to be government consultants that made millions and millions and millions of dollars, had their consultants working, are now shifting those consultants to be coaches and consultants and repositioning them in corporate. And how companies are now going out. I don't know about you, but I get literally 3 to 4 solicitations a day to be a coach for a particular company that's building their staff. Yeah. So the consolidation in coaching it's on now. It is now on. So we have to be truly the category of one that people will know to come to us, to come to you, to me for particular answers, solutions, problems, those types of things. So we don't blend in with the masses. Okay. It's going to be, I fear that there will someday be the Costco of coaching. And we know with AI tools, we're kind of commoditizing coaching. And so bringing you more to the conversation, highlighting you, bringing your whole passion and who you are and your gifts and your talents to the coaching relationship, your coaching presence is something I am so completely focused on. And, that's how we're going to succeed in this next year and beyond. So curious for each of you, what are some strategic advantages? Maybe we could look through the lens of what do I need to stop, continue doing that old coaching framework, which works so well all the time. What do I need to start doing, stop doing, continuing? What do I need to start where do I need to start positioning myself for a more category of 1 year type of thing? What are you thinking about as we jump over into our breakout rooms? What are you thinking for yourself? A book, certainly speaking on stages, certainly TED Talk, certainly being esteemed faculty, certainly all of these things, collaborations. Yeah. What else?
I
Sheila.
think, so for me, it's right, the personal branding, executive branding space that I'm in. It's becoming more of a content authority than a content creator. So instead of just posting, right, anybody can post content, but post content that shapes thinking versus just posting content. So there's a lot of mergers and acquisitions going on in a lot of different spaces, and so I think about that from a personal branding lens. How does your personal or executive brand help you stand out and weather that storm through a merger and acquisition? And again, posting content on LinkedIn, or are you doing more authority, more shaping people's thinking? So that's what's top of mind for me right now.
Brilliant, brilliant. And you are so great at that. You are the expert with your book as well and everything that you're doing. what I'm also noticing is community, building community. And I'll just put a little plug on Friday, June the 12th. We're going to have our council gathering in Chicago right before C-Suite Network Thought Council, Friday, June the 12th. And we're talking about just this thing, how to bring currency, connection, community, and everything together so that you're really building something that endures beyond you trading time for dollars. So the aspect of community currency connection is so critical. Yeah. Anyone else comments about strategic moves for you for this year?
Maybe
Yeah.
Kathleen, hi, and
Hi.
hello group. Perspective from job, like I have been looking for my next move and interviewing companies with a mindset of where do I want to be versus just do they want me? So what I can tell you is what I'm finding is companies are posting jobs that are not real and what I mean by that is they've already been filled by an internal candidate, or they don't have the budget for it, but would like to see the talent that is interested in those roles. And many companies are hiring fractional positions. I'm sure you guys are seeing that within this consulting coaching world because it's a way to not have commitment for a full-time big executive position. And they seem to get approved for funds, is what I'm saying, for consulting positions and consulting budget versus permanent headcount labor. So I'm seeing that, and I'm spending a lot of time right now interviewing, learning, being curious, and deciding. I have the luxury of what is my next move and where do I want to take my talents. And as I navigate through many organizations, the lack of commitment, because they don't have it, maybe not because they don't want to or they don't see the need, but they don't have the budget. And every organization, the one I came from and the ones I'm interviewing, are being asked to do more with less. So I think from why did I join this call is, I've entertained doing consulting. I've met with some consulting companies is because I see the budget flexibility. It is not permanent, it's not long term, but I'm seeing companies have money for that. So for everybody on this call, I've spent a lot of time, interviewing companies and meeting with C-suite executives, and there's more of a favorability to get consulting and coaching approved versus adding headcount.
Very,
You know,
very
having
interesting.
having been in the job market for 8 or 9 months, however long it's been, I'm seriously considering having my name legally changed to other candidates. But it's in a weird way gratifying to hear you talk about the job. Some of the jobs weren't real to begin with because it sort of decreases the amount of people that just didn't, just looked at my resume and said,
We
Yeah,
can go
yes.
with it's AI, but I don't believe that in what I've found. And, I'm in a networking group that's how do you find a job in 2026, whether that be consulting or coaching or a permanent role or a fractional role. And it's coming from connections, whether people or you did a cold outreach to, that figure out a job for you or connect you to somebody who you can solve their problems for. And I know this group, coaching and consulting, you're helping organizations, people, teams, etc., solve problems. But that's where the job, Angela, considering other candidates as your new name. I think, and I have alumni and people within that group that the job doesn't get posted until they've already accepted a job. So there are people in my network group that have a start date, pass background check, accepted formally an offer, and the role for that job doesn't get posted until after that. So we have like live people telling us that the XYZ role just went up today, even though they're starting on March 26th or whatnot. So
Was an internal through people that know each other that they didn't have to post it or something, or just
right. I think using their network. HR in a lot of companies say you have to post a job for
That's
5 days or whatever your company
That's it.
policy is.
There's a corporate policy that
Yeah.
requires them to do something. Because I remember, and I'm talking decades ago, I could not do an internal candidate as an update until I had posted something and taken applications from the outside. And sometimes that's just one of those, you want to call it a stupid rule, but it's in the documentation, and it's a process that has to be followed. And it really is a detriment to both those internal that have the option to move up and those external that are looking for employment and going through a process when, as you said, it's not a real job, it's not a real offer, because they already feel they know who they want for it, but they're supposed to do that external search. And it's sad to see that that is still uh, it's like, where are we looking at what has been a standard that no longer serves us? And how do we really function at creating those new jobs where they need to be? And I think one of the things I know I've talked about before is the fact that sometimes we keep posting for a job that we really don't need that job anymore, because as things are changing, who can do something sometimes is somebody who's been around and experienced things, and they can take and come in and do part of what's required of that job and maybe morph it into a brand new position that nobody's ever described as a specific role. However, the company has still been posting that old job because that's the one they've always known. So thank you for all you've brought forward, Michelle.
Well, and
Other
I think it's false fairness. That actually causes more harm than it actually does good, because you know who you're going to hire, but you got to post the position because you got to appear to be fair to everybody, but you give people hope they can't afford to lose. It,
so
it
how about if
really
we
is.
jump in? Yeah, when you please complete there, Angela, feel free. So important what you're all saying. And what I want to do is I want to introduce our esteemed faculty that are going to have breakout rooms. And we could just literally have a 10-minute breakout room just together and maybe just share a takeaway, a thought, something that's pertinent to you. And maybe we might huddle up into some combined breakout rooms. And by the way, please put in your calendar for Thursday, June the 4th. Thursday, June the 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to essentially really launch this series, and we've got enough time to promote, showcase, and highlight each of you. So today's kind of a loose, I would say dress rehearsal kind of thing, getting ready for this. But obviously, the conversations we're having are so important. So let me just share very quickly some
Kathleen,
breakout rooms where you can go. And Suzanne Ekstrom, thank you for being here. And also, you're going to talk about in your breakout room, and we could probably go for 15 minutes total. And I'll send a note into the breakout rooms, giving you a heads up on like the 10-minute mark and the 5-minute and the 1-minute mark. But, maybe discussing your new book, Smarter Leadership with AI. Certainly talk about that if you'd like to, or whatever the room wants to talk about. Susan Younger, Humanitarianism. Can't wait to hear more about that. Carol Kamimer, you were talking about how you close the visibility gap as your strategic advantage. Deb Creer is going to join us for our next session, talking about how executives can navigate a cancer diagnosis while maintaining the continuity and success of their business. Gloria, we'd love to have you talking about your company mission, changing the world of work one leader and one company at a time. Love that. Angela, if you'd like to talk about accessibility, the accessibility advantage, and what we can do now, if you see at the very bottom of the screen, literally for 15 minutes, we can just jump into a breakout room. Let's just keep it loose and have a conversation about strategic moves for you, your career, your business in any area of your life, and advising your clients too. What would be the strategic moves that you would recommend that they would take? So with that, let's jump into a couple breakouts. If you look at the very bottom, and I thank you. I have loved this conversation so far, really good. So feel free, jump in and connect with each other in the same room if you'd like to. Susan, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I said, I think a lot of us would be happy to say we just hang together. We're loving having this broader discussion.
Thank you. I love it too. And what I'd love to do is give also specifically Suzanne and Gloria the opportunity to kind of to lead a roundtable, because last week everyone had a roundtable experience. So maybe we could huddle up in Suzanne's room and Gloria's. But if you want to have your own room, you just go and do that. Yeah. Yeah. We're making it all up here, ladies.
I was going to say, what if I want to huddle in Suzanne's room?
Then you jumping in her room. It's all good. Because this is the testing, getting ready, trying this out, going for it thing. Right. Gloria, jump in there, because I think the two of you could be fantastic collaboration partners. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to do a little research. Zoom hid the when we did celebrates, the breakout list would just like show up on my screen in the tab order. And it no longer does that.
Okay. Let's see.
So just put me wherever the heck you want me. I don't care.
All right, good. Okay, good. Michelle, do you have a sense of where you'd like to go as well?
Well, I have to exit at 10:45. So I don't want to disrupt a group in any way by exiting. So I can join wherever you think. I see that there's one that has 3.
Yes.
Or I can stay here.
Why don't you go? Yeah, go in with Suzanne Ekstrom, and that would be fantastic. And make sure we can connect you and Carol together, because Carol is an expert in career transition for executives, executive authority. So the two of you definitely want to connect.
Okay. I wrote everybody's name down and I'll find them on LinkedIn, but I made a note on Carol's. So thank you.
Good. Yeah. And that maybe you reach out, the two of you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
So I was just going to say, I would love to talk to you.
Okay.
Maybe the 3 of us could have a breakout room together.
Well, let's go into my breakout room.
Okay, I'll join your breakout room.
Let's
fantastic.
Do it.
Okay.
I'll bring the pizza and beer and let's have a party.
That sounds good.
Good. And we know you need to depart early, Michelle. That's cool.
Okay.
Right, so Angela, you would like for me to go put you in Carol's room. Is that correct?
Sure.
And then you press the join. Good. You click on the join. Okay, good. All right, let me have you assigned to Carol.
Zoom workplace.
Good. Okay.
Join button. Consent.
And I think there you go. Okay, so thank you. Hey, great breakout strategic roundtables. I think that was fantastic. Thank you. So curious, as we complete our time together, what's an insight that you got from today, from the conversations you were having? What's the insight that's going to give you the greatest strategic advantage? Maybe we do a quick little popcorn roundtable. What's an idea? My biggest idea is I got to get going on my podcast and I got to get going on my book. Those are 2 things. Daily actions. Okay. And Suzanne, thank you. What's the goal? And then work backwards from it. Boom, that's mine. How about you? What's a strategic takeaway that you have from today? Thank you, Carol. Jump in.
I noticed I was on mute. Okay, so I think that we know that senior level people don't move up just because they are great performers. And so we really need to be more visible. And my research has shown that I hear every day from people that I have coached who are saying, oh, now I'm getting some visibility here. They know how to do it. They know what to do, and it's making a difference. So I think visibility is one of those real advantages for us in 2026. It's one of the things that we can control, and having our future direction in our hands is important.
Thank you. Agree. Right. Yes. Yes. And when people know something, we can be the people that create the structure, the support, the community around them to make sure that they realize it. Because left with their own AI little device, it ain't going to get done, right, folks? They need to have all the goodness that you bring to the engagement to help them realize it and celebrate it. Yes. Thank you, Carol. Good. Who else? Biggest takeaway. Angela, jump in. We have just a couple minutes. Yeah, thanks.
AI is great, but it can't see how systems connect to each other. It doesn't always see conversations you had in different threads of the same platform. So, the human can take something and actually relate it to something that happened 6 months ago. AI can't necessarily do that.
Brilliant. Absolutely. The human component of it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, good. Who else? Biggest takeaway from our time together? Strategic advantage, whatever's on your heart and your mind. Thank you.
I'll jump in. For me, really building on what Sheila said, which is about not just being content, but being the authority around it and having the voice heard. And that goes along with what Carol, with what Carol said about visibility and having the visibility around that authority. And that's fun. That's fun stuff to do.
It really is. And I love it because guess what? We get to do it for ourselves, and then we get to do this with our clients too, using C-Suite Network's ecosystem. Hello, shout out to C-Suite Network. It's great. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Susan, pick away big thoughts, strategic advantage for this year as we complete our time.
I really think, yes, everything everybody has said is true. And I really think it is when we lock arms together and support each other. The fact that we come together collectively has so much more power than individually.
Beautiful.
And so many people are struggling because they're doing that individual thing. And as it was talked about by both Angela and Michelle, I think about the fact that those connections do more for finding the job than the posting of a job listing. So there's a lot to be said for who do you know?
Beautiful. That's right. The who in all of this. Very good. Well, ladies, as we complete, let's continue the conversations. And from today, continue the conversations with each other, with you as esteemed faculty partners, with colleagues that are coming in. Our whole goal is to create great conversations that spur a dialogue and spur and connection and collaboration. So thank you to all of our esteemed faculty that participate today. Suzanne, thank you. Susan Younger, Carol Cavamer, Deb Creer, we're going to hold our spot for you the next time. Gloria St. Martin Lowry, thank you. Angela Fowler, and put on your calendar, make sure next Thursday on the fourth Thursday of every month at 1 p.m. Eastern, we get together for our quick reconnect, 27 minutes, and we've already got an agenda. So thank you. loved the conversations and so appreciate and love each of you. So with that, thank you. Have an awesome day, and can't wait to the next one. I'm like leaning in, going, oh, so excited. Very good. Have a great day. Let's make the difference that we're called to make. Lots of love to each of you. Bye for now. Thank you. Thank you. Glad each of you are here. Thank you. Thanks. Bye. Thank you.